How will I live without you?" That was the last thing she said, before her tears spoke what her words couldn't. And today, she's not here, not beside him, not even within reach. Just a memory. Let me take you back to a love story that began with a glance and ended with silence. Many years ago, a young man named Tom went to visit a temple. It was just an ordinary day. He wasn't looking for anything. Not love, not signs, just peace. But fate had other plans. As he stood there, lost in thought, he suddenly noticed a pair of eyes watching him. A girl was staring at him quietly from across the temple grounds. Their eyes met only for a second, but it was enough to spark something that neither of them could explain. She quickly looked away. Tom hesitated. Maybe I imagined it, he thought, but something inside him said no. It was real. To be sure, Tom walked outside, and moments later the girl followed. She looked at him again, this time more softly, more meaningfully. Tom's heart beat faster, but he reminded himself, talking to a girl like this, not right, not respectful. So he didn't say a word. Instead, he took out a small piece of paper, wrote down his phone number, and dropped it gently on the ground. A silent offering to destiny. Then, he walked away. The next day, Tom returned. The note was gone. He searched the area quietly, hoping maybe it was still there. It wasn't. Days passed. A week. Nothing. No message. No call. No sign.
No!
And just when hope began to fade, his phone rang.
It was a number he didn't recognize. "Hello," Tom answered. A soft voice replied, "Hi, this is Rosie." Tom's heart skipped a beat. Rosie had found the note. She had taken the chance. She called, and so it began.
They started talking, at first shyly, then like they had known each other forever. He told her, "Your eyes, they're the most beautiful I've ever seen." She laughed, the kind of laugh that stays in your memory forever. One day, they met, and the moment Tom saw her in person, he knew, this is the one. She was kind. She was beautiful. She was his dream. A year passed. Their love grew stronger. They made plans, dreamed together, spoke of futures that felt so real, so close. But life has its tests. Their families found out. Rosie's parents were furious. They took away her phone, stopped her from going out. Tom's parents gave him a warning. "If you keep seeing her, we will disown you." But true love doesn't surrender that easily. Rosie found ways to contact him using friends' phones. They met in secret, hugged like the world was against them, because it was. One evening, Rosie held his hand tightly and said, "I can't live without you." Tom replied, "Then don't. We'll get through this. You get into university. I'll get a job. And then we'll get married. I promise." Everything seemed hopeful again. But 2 years later, Rosie changed. She became distant. Calls went unanswered. Messages left unread. Excuses, silence, busyness. Tom tried, over and over, until one day he said, "Let's just get married now. We've waited enough." Rosie's voice was cold. "I won't marry without my parents' permission," she said. Tom felt a shiver inside. He knew something was wrong. Everything seemed hopeful again. But 2 years later, Rosie changed. She became distant. Calls went unanswered. Messages left unread. Excuses, silence, busyness. Tom tried, over and over, until one day he said, "Let's just get married now. We've waited enough." Rosie's voice was cold. "I won't marry without my parents' permission," she said. Tom felt a shiver inside. He knew something was wrong. "You're what?" he asked, holding back tears. "You're talking to someone else?" She said nothing. That was the day everything broke. They stopped talking. But love doesn't die that easily. 2 months later, Tom went to see her again. This time with his heart in his hand. He held her tightly and whispered, "Let's forget everything. Let's run away. Let's get married. Let's try one more time." Rosie didn't move, didn't speak. Just one tear fell from her eye, and she said, "It's too late, Tom. I can't." Tom knew then he had lost her. Seasons changed, people moved on, but Tom waited. Then, one ordinary evening, he saw her on social media, wearing a red dress, smiling next to another man. A wedding photo. Rosie had moved on. Tom didn't cry. He didn't call. He didn't beg. He simply looked at the screen for a long time and smiled. A broken smile. Then he whispered to himself, "May she be happy. May all those who ever loved find peace, even if it's not with me." Love doesn't always end in forever. Sometimes it ends in silence. Sometimes in someone else's arms. But real love never ends in the heart. It lives on, quietly, endlessly, faithfully, because some people are meant to be remembered, not owned.